Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for taking a little bit of time today to watch the video. I really appreciate it. And I'm actually up in St. Louis, Missouri right now. My wife Kim's got a powerlifting competition today. It's Saturday. And I just wanted to take a chance to just opportunity to give you guys a preview of the Grand Lake Bassmaster Open, which begins this Thursday, that I'll be competing in. It's the last Bassmaster event of the year. And I'm going to start practicing on Monday down there, so it'll give me 2.5 days, which will be plenty because I know the lake really well. I've spent thousands of days on it. A lot of you guys may know my mom and dad had a trailer house down there for over 30 years, which was only about 35 miles from Joplin, where I grew up in. So, every weekend we'd go down, and when I was in high school, I spent all my spare time down there. So real familiar with the lake, and my first tournament win of any significance came in October down at Grand Lake in 1981. So I've been fishing tournaments down there forever. We're really looking forward to this one. But first of all, I'm going to give you guys my analyzation of how this tournament's going to go down. I'm going to give you guys a little preview of the lake if you're not familiar with it. Grand Lake is a famous fishery. You've heard a lot about it, but it's an overhyped fishery. The reality of the situation is Grand is not the lake it used to be, and it's not the lake it used to be for two different reasons. Number one, shoreline development on the lake has taken away probably 75 to 80% of the willow tree habitat on the lake that used to provide really good spawning habitat for the fish. The developers went in there and ripped out all the willow trees and buck brushes and cleared them off for houses, like unfortunately we're seeing all over the country a lot. Second to that, the new Wolf Creek facility, which is a multi-million-dollar state-of-the-art tournament facility on the lake, has been responsible for the demise of the lake a lot. It's brought in so many giant tournaments that the lake just gets hammered relentlessly from tournaments. And this weekend's a prime example why I'm not practicing this weekend. Today there's the Bass Pro Shop qualifier down there, going to be almost 250 boats in there. There's all the Bassmaster Open dudes down there practicing, and all the co-anglers. Going to be another 200 plus boats down there. It's going to have 500 boats on the lake this weekend. So I opted to set out till official practice starting Monday and let everybody hammer the water to a froth down there. So anyway, the point of what I'm saying here is, like I said, I fished Grand Lake since 1967 with my mom and dad, and I've know it as good as anybody in the tournament. And like I said, it's just not the lake that it used to be. So given that, there's still going to be fish caught in the tournament, and I'll sort of give you my analyzation. Last week we had a lot of rain here in southwest Missouri, northeast Oklahoma. It's brought Grand up a little bit. It's come up a couple feet. It's came up a couple feet, but it hasn't came up enough to really get to flood any type of cover or that type of stuff. It's probably dirtying some water up a little bit in some of the areas, which may help certain patterns. The problem that you're going to have here at Grand Lake is the lake is, even though the lake is like a 40,000 acre lake, it fishes extremely small because there's key areas of the lake that are good, and then there's a lot of dead water in the lake. And the lake has got so much notoriety, and it's got so much exposure from YouTube and fishing tournaments that everybody knows where the good areas are there. It's real obvious. If you're fishing shoreline cover, whether it be, docks, laydowns, rocks, whatever like that, that cover is really obvious. And it gets a lot of pressure. So that's going to be a big factor in this tournament. I'm going to guess that probably 75% of the people, not only in the Bass Pro Shop tournament today, but in our tournament next week, are going to just be taking a number on this shallow, obvious cover. And they'll be picking up some fish here and there off of them, but you're not going to win the tournament like that. In my opinion, this tournament is going to get won on offshore man-made brush piles. Grand Lake has got a tremendous amount of brush that people put in on the lake, just like any man-made lake. Has a lot of offshore brush, and it is next to impossible to win a tournament at Grand Lake from like the end of May until this time of year unless you're fishing some type of offshore brush. And when I mean offshore brush, I don't mean like super deep brush piles, although some of them can be down to 30 feet. But a lot of this brush is scattered you know, anywhere between, say, 5 to 30 foot deep. You know, a lot of the brush is it may be offshore on some flats in shallow water. There may be some offshore brush, you know, out on the ends of points in 30 foot of water. They could just be in the middle of coves. These dudes down there, Grand Lake has so many regional and local guys down there that plant brush that it's literally all over the lake. So in my opinion, this tournament is probably going to get won by somebody that knows the lake pretty good. There's several locals in this tournament that fish it a lot, that are hammers on the lake. And the guys that know where a lot of that area is going to have a tremendous advantage in this tournament, unless the lake really gets stained from the rain that we had. So another big technique, another big pattern in this tournament is going to be fishing docks. I mean, Grand Lake has got thousands and thousands of docks in it, and they always play a factor in it, and they will in this tournament too. So the thing about Grand Lake is the docks, even though you have lots of them, they're not all created equal. You have some fish that suspend on the docks. You got some fish that totally use the brush around the docks. You got some fish that, you know, use the shade of the docks, and you've got some fish that maybe use the rocky banks behind the docks under the walkway. So some of the anglers that can really target and figure out a pattern around those docks could do pretty good too in there. But there's going to be, this tournament, what you're going to have, in my opinion, is you're going to have 2 or 3 guys in the tournament that sort of run away from it. I wouldn't be, it could take over 20 pounds to be leading the first day of the tournament, but 50th place, maybe 5 or 6 pounds. There's going to be a big separation, because you're going to have a separation of anglers that find some type of off the wall, more obsolete pattern going on, and they're going to catch some quality fish doing it. And then everybody else is just going to take a number on the obvious stuff, and they're going to be catching, the fish that they catch are just going to be keeper fish if they catch any at all. So yeah, I look for it to be, you know, just, you know, an average to averagely tough tournament. I don't look for it to be a lot of big weights in the tournament. I don't look for it to take a lot of weight to get a check in the tournament. But like I said, excuse me, it could take some quality fish to win the tournament, especially one day. It's going to be hard to duplicate that 3 days. But like I said, there's enough local anglers in the tournament that they're gonna know where a lot of that offshore structure is on the lake. So anyway, I don't mean to be a downer about Grand Lake, because it's just Grand Lake and Table Rock are the 2 lakes I love, and I'm real critical of the people and the entities that have come in and undermined the productivity of both of those lakes. And so I don't mind calling it out when I see it, because I have a lot of, you know, I have a lot of great memories, and those 2 lakes have been an important part of my life all year long. And if it was up to me in a perfect world, I would have stopped a lot of that long ago. I would have put a halt to all that development. I would have put a halt to all these, you know, multiple major events being held on the lake week after week after week, and have some type of responsible regulation as far as the amount of tournaments on the lake to ensure the quality of fishing for future years. So we'll see how it goes, guys. I'm going to start practicing Monday. I'll give you guys a pre-practice or a practice report every day off the water, like I did at Smith, and then a tournament report too. And hopefully we'll do better than I did at Smith Lake, and help you guys learn something from this tournament. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll keep in touch this week. See you.